Good evening, all. Shall we start? Yesterday, we have started functions in C, right? I don't think any need to go to whatever I have covered, but we talked about function call, function definition, library function, user-defined functions. Somebody asked me the difference between library and user-defined. Basically, all .h files available in the include directory. Okay. So whenever you install any IDE, the IDE has got some compiler. So that includes some folder whose name is include itself. Now that include folder has got numerous header files. All these header files have got extension as .h. And when I taught you preprocessor directives, three or four preprocessor directives are there. One of that was file inclusion, if you can recall. So basically that hash include some stdout.h or stdlib.h. All these header files contain prototypes or declaration of functions. When I taught that chapter, probably you might not have understood what I meant by prototypes. But yesterday we have seen how to write the prototype. Writing prototype is a must in C++. Writing prototype in C is good programming practice. Now, when we talk about library functions, since these library functions are provided by the library developers, prototypes of these library functions are available in .h file. Many students feel that these functions are available in this .h file. No, .h file contains only prototypes of these functions or function declarations. I think I have shown you many times what this .h file contains, but let me see if I can show you some of the .h files. Okay, this is stdio.h, right? So if I open it, basically this is stdio.h, right? Now, all these are prototypes. Yes, remove, rename. These are file handling functions, right? These are printf, sprintf. Okay, scanf might be there somewhere down here. So this is a printf. Huh? And you will find that implementations are different. So no comment is there. The following three always refer to the MSV, Microsoft, Visual, C, RT. Something is there. Okay, we don't need to go into the details of that. But these files contain the this thing. Time.h is there, right? So this is the time.h. Functions related with time and date. These functions are there. This is a structure, predefined structure, but we haven't reached to up to that structure chapter. But current time, system time, you can now access through these functions. So all these are basically okay. So this is your program, suppose, right? This is your program, and this is a .c program, suppose .c, right? Then when you include files, that this will be expanded source code, right? I will make it some short. Suppose this is your program, right? And this is expanded source code. Okay, I'll make it. I'll change the color. This is color is not changed. Okay. So this is expanded source code. This expanded source code this basically sorry here the file will be included, right? Now this is okay, so that is a header file, and this is your source code. Now these are just prototypes. So suppose this is a stdio.h and this is stdlib.h. So there are many functions here. That is prototypes, right? Now each of these function has got a file. Okay, each of these function has got some file, right? Now when you send this program for compilation, okay, you send this program for compilation, this file, right, will be linked. All these files will be linked, right, with your file, and these are basically .obj files. Obj file of printf. So this is obj file of printf. This is obj file for scanf. This will be obj file for some function like std. What function we have? Fflush. Okay. So these files will be connected. This is the obj file as well. Your obj file. Right? This is obj file of your source code, and these are also obj. So these whole will be your final executable file, right? That I explained you last time. This will be the final executable file. Now, that is the reason size of executable file is more. Now, what we are trying to do is we are writing our own functions. Okay, that is basically we have been trying to do since yesterday, right? We will write a few programs today. I don't know, don't remember. Was it basic 01 or sample 01 yesterday? But let it doesn't make any difference. What I want to tell you is how to write prototypes of our own functions. Suppose there is a program to earlier program. Hmm? Mm, Earlier program of what program? I will write the comment here so that you will understand what I am going to do. Write a program using function to find area of a circle. Simple program. circle, area of a rectangle, and perimeter of a rectangle. User will enter radius of a circle and length and width of a rectangle, right? This will be the user input. So how we can start? First of all, there would be 4 functions, right? One each for circle, circle and area, and one each for rectangle, perimeter and area, right? So what could be name of the function? We will write this. So suppose area, you can see the rake area, okay, then rake query, circle area, circle. These will be 4 functions. What will be input this? Input values would be length and width, right? As far as perimeter is concerned, again same thing. Right? Here input value would be radius, right? And for circumference again input value will be radius. Right? Now, what would be return type? Return type would be the area, right? And here the return type would be perimeter. Why I am showing this? When you write functions in the future, you don't need to write all these comments. Once you start writing programs very easily, but for as a beginner, when you don't know what function will return, how many arguments it will take. So this is how you can design that program. Here return type will be area, right? Circumference. Now what will be the data type of this? This will be int. Int if length and width are length and width both are int. That is, this is very important. Right? So we assume that both will be length and width will be integer. So same happens here, right? Return type will be integer. What will happen here? The return type would be return type definitely will be a float or a double. radius is integer. If it is float, no question about that. But even though radius is integer, return type is going to be a float. Right? That is the reason I am showing you how to write the prototype of a function. Important is this part. And float if radius is integer. Okay, return type of circle, return type of a circle circum, because circumference is going to be calculated, which will be multiplied by 3.14, and it is a constant, right? So we can use a lot of features what we have already learned. So let's start writing function uh, prototype. This will be int take area. We'll take two arguments because we have already written that int comma int, right? And semicolon. So this will be prototype. Rake area is name of the function that we have already uh, defined here, right? Defined means we have finalized that. It is going to take two arguments. Okay. So here don't need to write name of the variable. You need to write only prototype. So int will be the first argument, second argument will be int. That's it. And it will return int. So that is written here. Okay. Similarly, int is going to be return type of function rec query, and it will take two arguments int comma int, right? Semicolon. What is the third function? Circle area, right? So this is going to be a return type of float circle area, and it will take one argument, that is a radius. Likewise, circle circum int. So these four functions we are going to write our own functions. So this is very important. Then 3D variables. How many variables are declared here? Are required here? In all, three variables are required. Length, right? Breadth. These are for input, and we will take radius as well here. So I will write in a separate line. Int radius. Now, next, some output variables must be there. Because you are going to operate some operands, some formulas you are going to write. So there will be int, suppose area of circle and circumference of circle. Okay, this will be float, right? And this will be int area of rectangle and perimeter of rectangle. Okay, and you can comment here whatever you want to say. You can comment here. If you have written declared variables like AR, PR, so other programmer may not be able to immediately understand what that AR stands for, what that PR stands for, what that AC stands for. Okay. Otherwise, you have to declare that as a rectangle area, okay, or R area, some kind of thing. You can design your own notation. Because everybody will be having his own ideas of declaration of variables and understanding those back. So these four variables were required. Then what I will write, I will input. Okay. So I will give message to the user, enter length of a rectangle, right? Connect CD and or not radius length. copy paste this. Rectangle right here. Right. Radius of a earlier we were writing, if you can recall, in the first chapter we have solved the same program. We were writing formulas in this main function only, but now we will not write. We will write our own functions and we will call them. Hmm? So I will write AR is equal to, what is the AR? Area of rectangle. So I will call the function rec area and I will send the argument as length and breadth. Right. So this is basically a function call. AR in PR is equal to rec query. And see, that intelligence gives you help. Once you write the prototype, it gives you help, right? So it is giving all help. It is the return type of rec query. It is taking two arguments. First argument is integer. Next second argument is integer. So that is the no benefit of that writing prototype before main function, before you writing function definitions. So design should, many students write definitions and then write prototype. That is bad idea. That is wrong programming practice. That is bad programming practice. So here also I will, because it guides you, right? That help guides you. Length and breadth. I'll call the function AC is equal to, what is that? Circle area, and it is showing one argument only so that you don't make a mistake. All right. Otherwise, when you write program, instead of two, you will send one argument. Instead of one, you will send two arguments. It may happen. CC, that is a circle circumference, is equal to circle circum, and again single argument, that is a radius. Here I will write output that. Okay, so area of a rectangle %d slash n, and I'll write AR, right? And here perimeter of a rectangle. Have you seen that R also I write as a capital because the rectangle is no. That is what we are talking about. Okay, so I want written in a small case, but it should be highlighted when you get the output. Okay. See, all these are not part of rules, a part of rules of C programming language. This comes under good programming practice, right? Sometimes it may be called as the semantics. Okay, meaning of the program, meaning of the output, meaning of the output window. That should be very clean and concise, and you can write PR, right? And print it, circle. Many students write this whole message in a caps lock on area of a circle in caps lock. Basically, caps lock is all capital letters sentence written in all caps on. It is very difficult to read, okay, for eyes. So one should avoid. Rather, I will say one should not. One must not write that way. Many students, no, I don't understand why they write in capital letters output. So percent here should be F. At the same time, we are just printing area of a circle, so I'll write 0.2, something like this, right? 0.2. 0 point I will write 10 point f, right? 10 point f. Hmm? 10.2 f, and then I will write what I have to write AC, right? Now let me type. That cursor has become it's yes. Circumference of a circle 17.2 a slash n. Here slash n is remaining. Forgot to put the slash n, and there I'll write CC. Okay. I don't think I would be able to write more than one program. Let's see. Let's try. Number of programs are not important. What we understand is important. So this is a just a main function. Okay, this is main function. Now I will write the function definition. I can minimize this so that no, I will write int rec area. Okay, now I will write function definition. So int l, int b. This is the function definition. So you can write int uh, area. Area is equal to L into B, and I will write return. You have to write return that return area. See, this area is local variable to this function, right? I will explain again all. I mean, I want to talk a lot on this program. Highlight definition of what is the second function? Rec Perry, right? Rec Perry int. You can give same name here, int L and int B. Okay, it is up to you. But this L and this L are going to be completely different because these are two different functions. I have talked about it lot in the storage classes. So two functions are different. These function bodies are different. These function have got their own stack, and as soon as control goes outside the function, that stack becomes empty. Everything is popped off. That everything I have taught you. So this will be suppose perimeter, right? Perimeter is equal to 2 into L plus B, and I have to write return perimeter. This is very important, right? In C, you can return at the most one value, okay, not more than one. The return statement in C, rather any programming language, return can return only one value to the calling function. So I'll write circle area. This is going to take one argument. I'll write R, and I will write here float area. Area is equal to 14 into R into R, right? And float circle circum. There will be again radius. I will write float circumference circumference is equal to 2 into 140 into r, and return. Right? This is our full program. So these four functions are there, user-defined functions, because there is no user-defined function for calculating the area of a rectangle or a area of a circle or a circumference of a circle. These functions are not there, and that's why we call these as user-defined functions. Suppose you are working in the company, you start working in the company, and company has got some what you can say, some folder, okay, in which many programmers have written some functions. Okay, you also start writing some function, you save that function in that library, then that would be also a library function, but your own internal library not a standard library of C. What we call stdout.h, all these are standard library of C, but this is a reference term. When you start working in the company, your company might be having some set of functions, company might have developed some what you can say category of functions. They might be having different folders to store different functions. Okay, and if you use them, okay, that will be again library function, but it is your internal library function, not a standard library function, right? No difference is there. Okay, because implementation is going to be same. So now when you compile this program, I think there is no, is there any warning? Okay. Have you seen here? You are getting warning because we have calculated that, but we have not written that. So at least no, these days compiler actually no give you a warning. Old days Turbo C compilers were not giving a warning for this. Okay. So return, it is saying that you have calculated, but you are not doing anything. You are not printing. You are not returning. Okay, so it actually suggests you why after all you are, what is here the warning, radius is used. Okay, that is good. It is giving day by day, compiler or IDs have started giving a lot of warnings. That is good. I mean, probably these are updated by the developers, so perhaps they don't give any warning, right? So as I run this program, it gives you, it works the same fashion as the earlier program which we wrote in the first chapter. So you enter length of a rectangle, suppose 8, breadth of a rectangle, suppose 5, radius of a circle, suppose 4. So it gives you area of a rectangle 40, perimeter of rectangle 26. Yeah, that is correct. Area of a circle 50.24 and circumference of a circle 25.12. Right. This is how the program is can be developed. Now, what I want to tell you is that all these, let's start from the again this first statement. All these are prototypes, right? Number of arguments you need to write here. So one comma is there, so it means function is taking two arguments. Again here one comma, function is taking two arguments. No comma is there, so function is taking one argument. First is integer, second is integer. Same for the rect query. Then here there is no need to mention the name of variable, but you can see there is no question of allocation of memory because this is just a function declaration. So even you write doesn't make any difference. This is not an actual argument, this is not a formal argument. This is just intimation to the compiler that first argument will be integer, second argument will be integer, that's it. Whether it is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, doesn't matter to compiler, right? Absolutely doesn't matter, right? Now, This is called actual argument. What you send when you call the function, what you send when you call the function inside a pair of brackets, inside a pair of parentheses, these are called actual arguments, actual parameters. Then, once these actual arguments are sent, because this is a function call, the function will be called. Okay, so this is a function definition. When function is called, the contents of length, first argument, will be copied to first argument in the function definition. That's why this L and B are called formal arguments. So contents of actual arguments will be copied. Listen carefully. Copied. These are copied. Right? Copied to L and B. That's it. Okay. Many students write the same here. Length. Whether it is allowed? Yes, it is allowed. Whether it is good programming practice, I will say it's not a good programming practice. Okay, it is allowed, it is perfectly valid. There is no error, nothing is there. But sometimes you get confused. This is length, this is length. So unnecessarily we confuse ourselves. So good practice is to keep names of actual arguments and formal arguments different. That's it, right? So contents of length will be copied to L, contents of breadth will be copied to B, and inside this area is a local variable to this function. This is a formula for calculating the area, and return statement returns the contents of area. Okay, at this point, when control comes at this point, when control comes at this point, the control is left from this position. Okay, so return value will be returned at this position again. As soon as it is returned, it will be assigned to variable on the left hand side. Very important, right? Same happens here, and that is the reason, because when you try to return multiple values, how multiple values can be stored in one single variable? That is the reason function cannot return more than one value, right? Now, same happens for query. Okay, length and breadth, it will be copied to L and B. This will be calculated and it will be returned. The return value will be assigned to PR. Now, one more thing. Many students or in a professional practice, unnecessarily this variable is not declared. Okay, there is no point. You can directly write a single statement as return L into B. That's it. This is professional way of writing program. So instead of three statements, only one single statement is there, and L into B is there. That's it. Okay. So this will be solved first, and then that value will be written. Right. One more thing is that here you can use the macro. So hash define I on 40. Okay. I will use that macro everywhere. So pi into r and 2 into pi into r. It is a pi r square. This is the 2 pi r. The way we have been listening this term since our childhood. 2 pi r square. So you have written the way you pronounce. And this pi, as you already know, is a preprocessor directive. So before this program goes for the compilation, preprocessor directive, what it will do, it will add these two files at the same time. This preprocessor directive, wherever it finds pi, capital Pi, it will be replaced by the macro substitution, that is 3 point. X and Y, suppose int max, suppose enter two number, two integer, percent d and x and y. Right, max equals, suppose the name of the function is largest. So I will write int largest int comma. You have to send two arguments, right? And it will the function will return the largest. So largest x comma y, right? Printf largest between two is b. Write int largest in p comma in q. I can do right here, suppose int m, right? You can give max or whatever. Suppose I get int m if, okay, p is greater than q. I'll write return p, else return q. I actually took this program. I told you that a function cannot return more than one value, but function can have more than one return statement. So function can have multiple return statements, right? So if I run this code, this will be, suppose 55, 33. So largest between two is 55. Okay. So when control reaches here, this function will be called. And this code, this is just if else, right? Now, somebody yesterday asked me whether a function call can be written without semicolon. Yes, there are some situations. Immediately, you cannot find them, but I can tell you. Suppose I do not write this variable. Okay, I want to make this code compact, so there is no question of writing this, and I will call function directly from here. That is absolutely possible. I will call the function from here only. Okay, and I will send arguments x and y. This is perfectly valid. Now see, this is a function call. And this we cannot terminate because this is a kind of a argument, right? So what will happen when control reaches this printf statement? Okay, this much will be printed, right? This much will be printed, but when it comes across %d format specifier, it understands that the value is to be picked up from the other side of printf function. That is argument or whatever is there after the comma. Okay, so it goes at the other end after the comma, but at the comma it doesn't know what is there. There is not a variable as usual case. So at the after the comma, it comes across a function call. So there is a function call, right? So from printf function, largest function is called. So just imagine what might be happening inside the machine. Okay. When control comes here, control goes to printf function. That printf function is executed. Again, control comes back to the man function. Again, control goes to the scanf function. Scanf function is executed. Again, control comes back to the main function. Then here, this printf function is called. Now, control goes to that printf function, but inside printf function, we have called another function, right? So control goes to the largest, this function definition, okay? This function definition. This is executed. This returns the value, that's it. So I told you, control is returned from where the control has left, right? So whatever value is returned, it will be returned here at this point. It will be immediately printed here. That is the beauty of C language. You can design the program the way you want, provided you follow the basic syntaxes. So absolutely there is no problem. You're not doing anything wrong here. Rather, this is the one of the finest way of writing programs. Right? So in this case, I think Nihal yesterday asked me whether a function call can be written without terminating by semicolon. This is the case basically because there is no semicolon. Why? Because it is a part of argument. See, printf is also a function, right? So since this is a function largest, I told you that largest is the user-defined function. It is taking two arguments. First is integer, second is integer, returning integer. Similarly, printf is also a function. It is taking arguments. Okay, so this is one argument. This is second argument. Printf can take multiple arguments. How? That is the magic of C language, but you can't understand it right now. For that, you need to understand completely C language. Then, if you learn C++ from me, probably, okay, then I will explain you how the printf function works inside the machine. Okay, that is the beauty of C language. Now, this can be no. So how many concepts you are writing function, you are using that if else everything. You can convert this also. Okay, you can write this as instead of like in the earlier program, you can write return. What you can do? P greater than Q question mark P colon Q. Isn't it wonderful way of implementing all features of C language whichever you have already learned? Okay, you are using ternary operator, single statement, that's it. Return. What is to be returned? Ternary operator. If P is greater than Q, execute this. If P is not greater than Q, execute this. What will happen? If P is greater than Q, suppose P contains 10, Q contains 5, 10 is greater than Q at 5. Okay, so what is to be done? 10. So what does 10? This expression is solved. What is the result of this expression? 10. So this 10 will be written. This is how you can play along with any program in C language with the help of whatever I have taught you. Be it decision control structure, be it a loop control structure, be it a function, be it a macros, be it a preprocessor, directives, anything. Okay. So 47 and 58, largest between two is 58. Right? Storage classes. Here you cannot use, here you can, to write here x and y, you have to declare here x and y. But that is valid, I have already told you, because these are local variables to this function. These are local variables to this function. So they are completely, there is one home which has got Sakshi. There is another home which has got Sakshi. There is third home which has got Sakshi. All these three Sakshis are different, right? Same here. So if you declare here X, if you declare here Y, okay, you have to write X, Y, X, and Y. That's it. Okay. But good programming practice, no, no, is not like that. But after all, it doesn't make any difference if you are writing this function definition in separate file. This main function is a separate file, which we are going to write function programs in this way. Okay, not right now. Let's first understand the basics. Then we will go for writing this function in another file. Okay, we will include that file and then we will call that function. Okay, but that is, let's wait for some time. Hmm?